Have you ever stood in front of a simple task and still felt afraid to start? Do you know that moment when your mind says go, but your body refuses to move? Have you ever avoided a dream, a conversation, or a small opportunity just because fear whispered, "You can't do it"? It happens to many of us, but fear does not have to win. If you've ever felt held back by daily fear, this story is for you. Once upon a time. In a small town surrounded by rolling fields lived Alfred, a 30-year-old bookshop assistant. Every day, he dusted shelves, arranged books, and helped customers find stories they loved. He liked his quiet life, but he had a bigger dream. Alfred wanted to write his own novel. He imagined a story full of adventure, hope, and courage. But each time he thought of putting pen to paper, fear stopped him. He feared the words would be bad. He feared people would laugh. He feared failing before he even began. So every morning, he opened his notebook and stared at the blank page. Every evening, he went home and told himself, "Maybe tomorrow." While others in town tried new things, Alfred stayed frozen. While others shared their talent, he hid his. The villagers admired him for his kindness, but they whispered, "He is smart, but he never dares." Alfred heard those whispers, and each day his chest felt heavier. Fear kept Alfred trapped in small ways. When he wanted to write a chapter, he stopped after a few sentences. When a friend suggested joining a writer's workshop, he made an excuse. When he imagined submitting a story, his hands shook, and he told himself, "I'm not ready." One rainy evening, Alfred sat by the window of the bookshop. The wind rattled the glass, and the smell of wet earth filled the air. He stared at his empty notebook and whispered, "Why can't I start? Why am I so afraid?" Just then, the bookstore's elderly owner, Mr. Benjamin, came by. He noticed Alfred's sadness and asked, "Why do you look so heavy, my boy?" Alfred sighed. "I want to write, but fear stops me. I'm afraid of failing." Mr. Benjamin nodded slowly and pulled out two small bookmarks from his pocket. "One is fear," he said. "The other is courage. Both are inside you." Alfred looked at the bookmarks. One was dark and plain. The other was bright, with a tiny sun painted on it. "Which one will you choose to hold today?" Mr. Benjamin asked. Alfred's heart thumped. I don't know where to start," he whispered. The old man smiled. "Start small. Write one sentence, then another. Fear only controls you when you stop." Alfred held the bookmarks in his hands. Something inside him stirred. Perhaps, just perhaps, he could try. The next morning, Alfred sat at his small wooden desk. Sunlight spilled across the notebook. Fear sat quietly in the corner, whispering, "You can't do this." Alfred whispered back, "I will try. One sentence, that's all." He wrote. The wind blew cold over the hills. It was simple. It was small. It was shaky. But he wrote another sentence, then another. His fingers ached. His mind wanted to quit. But he kept going. Days passed. Alfred wrote every morning before work. Sometimes the sentences were bad. Sometimes the story made no sense. Sometimes he crumpled pages in frustration. But he kept going. Weeks passed. The story began to take shape. The characters grew real. The plot flowed. Alfred felt a quiet warmth in his chest. Courage was growing. One evening, a local writer visited the shop. Alfred gathered his courage and showed him a few pages. The writer read silently, then smiled. "This is good. You have a voice. Keep going." Alfred felt tears fill his eyes. His heart swelled with pride. For the first time, he understood. Fear does not disappear when you wait. It disappears when you act. Months later, Alfred finished his first draft. He submitted it to a small publisher. The story was accepted. His novel was printed. People in town read it. Children loved it. Adults smiled at the familiar town described in his pages. Even villagers who once whispered now said, "Alfred, he dared, and look at him now." One quiet evening, Mr. Benjamin visited him. He placed a hand on Alfred's shoulder. "You faced fear, Alfred. That is why you grew." Alfred smiled. "I still feel fear," he admitted, "but now I move forward anyway." He kept the bright bookmark by his desk, a small reminder. Courage begins with one small step. Dear friend, fear is part of our everyday lives. It stops us from writing, speaking, creating, or sharing. But courage also lives inside you, like a quiet flame. Fear stops growth. Courage starts it. Take one small step today. Write a line, speak a word, make a call. Do anything that moves you forward. The longer you wait, the louder fear grows. The moment you act, even just a little, courage begins to flourish. One day, you will look back and say, "I faced my fear, and I changed." If this story touched your heart, dear listener, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is afraid to start. Here on EchoTales, we bring warm stories each week to help your heart grow, and your English too. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.